think one of the big, catchphrases in education at one point was knowing your why, right?
Okay.
And I think knowing your why is really important. I think it gives you that internal drive and motivates you to be the best that you can possibly be. But I think to be a great leader, you need to know the why of the people that you're trying to lead.
Okay.
You need to know what drives them, what motivates them, what they want.
Yeah.
First of all, it goes back into that showing them you care.
Okay.
If you really are concerned about what type of leadership style can reach them and help move them to meet their goals.
Welcome to the Learning Shop at Crowley ISD podcast. I am your host, Dr. Mike McFarland, and we have a special episode for you today. This season, we're continuing powerful conversations around leadership, longevity, and legacy in our district. Our guest today is a leader in excellence at North Crowley High School, head basketball coach, and athletic coordinator, Coach Tommy Brakel. He is also a devoted husband and father. With over 2 decades leading the Panthers and more than 800 career wins, Coach Brakel has built one of the most successful programs in Texas. His career is highlighted by 2 state championships, including his most recent title that brought Fort Worth its first in nearly 20 years, as North Crowley became the first Fort Worth team to appear in and win the UIL 6A Boys Basketball State Championship. In 2024, he was also named as a McDonald's All-American Game Coach, recognizing his impact on the game at the highest level. Today, we are honored to have Coach Brakel here with us. Welcome to the Learning Shop, Coach.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely glad you're here today, Coach. And we're here in the Learning Shop because what we do here is have conversations about leadership.
Yes, sir.
You've done outstanding. You've achieved a lot with your career in your life. But I know there are leadership lessons and leadership nuggets that you have for our listeners. So let's go. This first section, we're gonna give you a phrase. We call this it's a lightning round, and we actually give you a phrase.
Okay.
And we give you that phrase, and you complete that phrase. It's leadership tips in 60 seconds.
Got it.
All right.
Now, you sure we don't need to do 35 seconds for a shot clock?
I don't know.
I've been trying to get a shot clock in the UIL.
And we're going to talk about that.
We can go to 60 seconds.
Absolutely. So. Let's go 60. Let's go 60. All right. So here we go. Fill in the blank. Helping student athletes succeed means?
I think it's giving them the core values and the character traits to be successful both on the court, in the classroom, and beyond North Crowley High School.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. The hardest part of developing leaders is?
I think it's differentiated leadership. Leadership is only as good as it is received. And so learning how to be a positive leader and being able to get the message received and acted upon.
Yeah. We're going to come back to that differentiated leadership. That's a good point, Coach. I want to dive in a little bit more than that. Let's go back. Success isn't measured by wins alone. It's measured by?
How close you can come to achieving your goals and being the most successful that you can possibly be individually and as a team.
Okay, awesome. So losses teach players to?
Attention to detail and a sense of urgency to fix the problems.
Awesome. Good stuff. So wins teach players to?
I think it reiterates what it is that we're trying to do as far as what they're doing allows them to be successful. Absolutely.
Thank you, Coach. That's 60 seconds and a lot of good nuggets. We're going to go back and talk about those in a minute. But what I like to do now is just start into the questions. And on the Learning Shop, what I want to do is give you an opportunity to define leadership for our audience. So to Coach Brakel, what does leadership mean?
I think leadership is really putting yourself out there and being able to show some of those character traits and some of those values that you want your kids to be able to, emulate and what makes them or allows them the opportunity to be successful beyond, North Crowley High School or whatever it is that you're working with them in.
Absolutely, Coach Brakel. Good stuff. Now you have been, you've probably always been a leader. But you've been in leadership positions, quite frankly, for probably over 25, 30 years almost. So as during that time process, tell me about one or two things that you believe were most critical to helping you be successful as a leader.
I really just think it's the experience of how to lead. You know, I mentioned differentiated leadership earlier, and you know, in my role as athletic coordinator, leadership may come, you know, with our head coaches on our campus. It may come with teachers on our campus. But then, as a basketball coach, my leadership turns into leading our assistant coaches, leading our individual players, and you know, that differentiated leadership and understanding who it is you're trying to lead and where you're trying to get them to go.
Wow, wow. So let's dig a little bit deeper in this idea of differentiated leadership. So in order to be able to exhibit or to display differentiated leadership, what is one or two things you as a leader have to do?
You know, I think one of the big, you know, catchphrases in education at one point was knowing your why, right? And I think knowing your why is really important. I think it gives you that internal drive and motivates you to be the best that you can possibly be. But I think to be a great leader, you need to know the why of the people that you're trying to lead. You need to know what drives them, what motivates them, what they want. First of all, it goes back into that showing them you care. If you really are concerned about what, you know, what type of leadership style can reach them and help move them to meet their goals.
Yeah, that's awesome, man, because oftentimes, you know, when people think about leadership, they think the leader kind of has this one way of doing things, and that's the sage on the stage or the person at top. But you present a very different picture of that.
I mean, and there are great leaders that way. That I mean, they have a leadership style, and everybody kind of gets on board. Especially in public education, I mean, it's a situation where if you want to reach as many people as you possibly can, whether they're adults or whether they're students and young adults, you know, being able to differentiate your leader style to meet them where they are and help get them to where they want to be.
Absolutely, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, I also know that, you know, you not only lead on your basketball with the basketball team. You mentioned the coaches that you lead. You're the athletic coordinator for the entire campus.
Yes, sir.
And there's been several state championships that have happened. Two that you have been personally the coach for, but another one that you were the action coordinator for. So how do you keep manufacturing success as a leader? Because that's not easy.
Well, and again, this is where the pride's going to come in, Dr. McFarland, a little bit. I'm so proud of, you know, the successes that we've had at North Crowley High School. And whether it's the 2 football state championships, the 2 boys basketball state championships, a couple of powerlifting state championships, and a whole variety of individual state championships along the way in sports such as tennis and golf and track and things like that. But I think it does, again, and I almost sound like a broken record because that's what I'm big on right now. It's that differentiated leadership. And even with our head coaches, our head coaches may need something totally different. They may be a young coach with lots of energy, lots of passion at what they do, and they really need the guidance in the profession. Some of them may be ready to go and they just need somebody to talk to. Coach Gates and I had a wonderful conversation right before his state championship, and it was right around when the district play was ending. And, you know, he was blowing through everybody in district play. And we sat and we discussed the year that we won the state championship. We had to go through Duncanville as well. And we had done a lot of things in advance preparing for Duncanville, and people didn't even realize that. And then when it came time to play them, we then went back and reminded the kids, you know, right, remember when we did this? We did this for this reason. And it makes them feel over-prepared. And I know that was a great conversation that Coach Gates and I was able to have about their state championship run.
Yeah, awesome. And you hit some points, man. Sometimes people think of leadership and leaders, they look at the actual product that they see. They don't understand the level of preparation. And so talk to me about that, because the question really is that people see the trophy at the end, but they don't always see what it takes to get there. So what do you want people to understand about the work, the sacrifice, standards, all those things that are necessary?
Yeah, I mean, preparation. Consistency. Work ethic. I mean, you can just go attention to detail.
Hold on, Coach. Y'all need to write that down. He said preparation, consistency, work ethic, attention to detail. All right, keep going, Coach.
I mean, those are some of the same ones. You know, and we've had the opportunity to go out and speak at other clinics and stuff. I mean, the consistency is a big deal. The guys walking in the gym knowing what to expect day in and day out so that they could put in that work. The attention to detail. They know that we've done our work as coaches on the front end so that as they come in, it's that confident that, hey, these guys know that we're ready, okay? And then that makes that work that you're doing in practice more efficient. And just provides a confidence for them to be successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Coach, so I know we know that I see education in school as a tool for life. I know you use athletics as a tool for life. So how would you want the lessons students are learning, athletes are learning from you, how would you want those to transfer into their life? What do those things look like in everyday life for
Man,
kids?
and I think those go so hand in hand because, we always talk about great coaches are great teachers.
Absolutely.
And great teachers, could be
Absolutely.
great coaches because it's all about finding kids where they are and inspiring them to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
And then you take those same character traits that would allow them to be successful at the highest level in athletics or in a classroom, and they translate into success after North Crowley. We have a saying that we use all the time, that the more people that we can get pulling on the same end of that tug rope,
Yeah.
the better chance we have of pulling those kids across the finish line and allowing them to be successful once they leave mom and daddy's home, once they leave the friendly walls of North Crowley High School, our gyms, our field houses, stuff like that.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So, Coach, I know that because you've had a long history of leadership, I know you've had key leadership role models. Share with us, one or two role models you've had and what you learned from them.
And I guess the one that stands out the most is when I was a young coach, and it was just John Wooden. And, John Wooden, Maxwell, I mean, just some of those leadership books.
Yeah.
John Wooden was so big on the attention to detail piece.
Absolutely.
That's really where I got that. I mean, everything from the way his players were supposed to put on their socks, pregame to keep from getting blisters and stuff like that.
Right.
But then being young in the profession as well, being able to step back and watch others in the profession, and whether it is in the academic portion of the profession or whether it's in the athletic portion of the profession,
Right.
and being able to step back and watch what they do and ask questions and model yourself at the way that they do it. And so Robert Hughes was a big one at Fort Worth Dunbar. All the success that he was able to have there with the Flying Wildcats.
Absolutely.
And as a young coach, I was able to sit back and take in and watch a lot of his successes.
Man, what a gift to be able to learn from those before you. Absolutely. So when we're thinking about your time here at North Crowley, your time in Crowley ISD in general, because I know you've been at both Crowley High and North Crowley, right?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So when you think about that time and you begin to think about legacy and longevity, how do you want to be remembered as a coach, as an educator, as a man?
That's a great question, and I haven't really thought just a whole lot about legacy. Right. But I hope over the years that I've been able to build relationships with players that go beyond the gym, beyond the locker rooms, beyond the 4 years that they're at North Crowley High School. We've been to weddings, we've been to